this is now the remains of Bernie's, which I kegged yesterday. This, where's my bucket? Bucket's over there. Just a minute. This is easily released by unscrewing, I think I've mentioned this before, the ferrule that goes around the top and holds that down, but not so it comes off. So just loosen it, apply some gas, and it goes pop, and there you go. Look at that, beautiful. So that now goes it bucket. Right, somewhere under that lovely mess is a tilt hydrometer. Not a tilt hydrometer, a float hydrometer. That's my float. That can go in there. Enough. Oh yeah, gunged my hands up. But I just wanted to show you, all that in there is dry hop. That's all that lot is, dry hop. I could possibly have squeezed, I don't know, maybe another ½ litre or something out of there. But you'll have seen in one of the previous videos when I did the closed transfer just how small an amount of pellets they was, and now they is big. So I'm going to start cleaning that out now, because I'm going to do exactly the same closed transfer dry hop with the happy ending. This is just the first, what I call super sort of rinse, just to get the majority of whatever hoppage is left after I rinsed it out. This is the second phase, where I add some sodium percarbonate, which is quite a good cleaner. Now, the question is, how do you clean these manky bits, the tubes? Now this is the tube that I used to keg it, so it's got a couple of ball locks on. The logical way is going to be to attach that. Oops. Actually, I'm going to rinse this water out first, because that's a bit gammy. Yummy. What I've done is attach the line that I used to transfer from the all-rounder into the keg to the dip tube that goes to the floaty ball. The other end, and you can see there's some beer in there, I'm going to attach to my little keg here that I use as a beer line cleaner. So I've hooked that one up to the CO2, and then I'm just going to, all I'm going to do is literally, this is probably going to go everywhere. Well, thank you, you bastard. Why aren't you transferring? Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, I know you lot love it when I get things wrong. I fucking do. What's going on here? I think I might need to up the pressure a little bit. Hang on. Right, what are we on? Ah, we have some. Oh, actually, it's just blown that off. Bloody brilliant, isn't it? That's blocked up. Oh. Yeah, that's just caked. Hang on. Actually, it tastes quite nice. Well, it doesn't taste nice now. No, bitten into the hop. Right, gonna have to clean that tube out. Nothing simple, is it? Shall I start again? Nah, fuck it. Oh, by the way, This is what this is the, what's it called, the skimmage when it all dried, and I wanted to see what cultures would hit it. So there's a couple of interesting cultures there, but I was gonna try and look at them properly. Fuck it, I'm just gonna call them mould. They're mould down, yeah. Anyway, right, so I've reconnected that to the hose, to the thing. Boom. Gas, I've dropped the gas pressure down to serving pressure, and so now all that's doing is flushing this all through. Yeah. Right, then I will give it another wash on the outy sidey, and then soak the whole fucking lot in Star San before reassembly. That's doing alright. That's now emptied of line cleaner and water. I'm now going to empty this and refill it just with nice clean water. There's some undissolved sodium percarbonate down there, look. I might give that a little stir, and then give that a good fill of Star San. Remove the Star San back into the Star San keg. Not that one, it's a bit big for a Star San keg. Then when it's dry, put the dry hops in there for the happy ending. Seal it all up. Give it a massive purge of CO2, which also puts CO2 through the line. And then go upstairs to fermentation fridge 1, where the happy ending is currently sat, and dry hop it exactly in the same way as we did with Bernie's. So we've done the Star San transfer, and that's a little bit disappointing. I thought we had more Star San than that. Hang on, that's better. Actually, need a bit less Star San than that. A bit less. That's better. Good. Yes, I know, it's stupid. So that's now completely flushed through with Star San, completely sanitized. All we're going to put in there is the hops, dry hops. So we've got 40 of Mandarina Bavaria, 40 of Waiiti, and 20 Citra. By the way, here's something just to bear in mind. Haven't touched this since it arrived, Waiiti, and it wasn't sealed properly. It just very easily pulled apart. So the heat sealing on this vac hadn't actually worked, but the vac was still holding, and if that makes sense. So it was vacked but not sealed. So those are now going to go in there, and then I'm going to give it a good purge with CO2. So this is now purging all of the oxygen out of here. Easy way to tell when all the oxygen is gone, if you sniff it, and it gives you that that sort of like fizzy nose. Fizzy nose. I know is what I mean. You know, that you used to get from some of those fizzy drinks. I don't know if anybody will know what I mean by that. I do apologise, I know what I mean. But fizzy nose is, it's different from just breathing in air. So I know that now, because carbon dioxide, CO2, is much heavier, it's denser, heavier than air, oxygen that we breathe. So as the CO2 rose, it's forced. That'll be the postman. All the oxygen out. Back soon. The postman always rings once. What a lovely way to be disturbed. Very lovely way to be disturbed. We have a hoppage delivery from Callum. Callum had these. He didn't know whether they was going to be of any use because he sealed them up earlier this year. Callum, mate, seriously, you have sealed these very, very well. I think these are probably going to be as fresh as the day you put them in, but I'm going to age them. I'm going to try and age them. I'm going to open them, leave them exposed to the air. That's for a different project. That's for a project that I'm going to do a completely different video on. A project that needs, in fact, it requires aged hops. So I'm going to try and age these. I've got some others upstairs which are like 10 years old but sealed in a packet someone gave me. I'm going to see if they smell suitably kind of like old feet cheesy. But these, Callum, I reckon you could probably have used these. I'll let you know later. Anyway, right. That, as I said now, is completely purged of oxygen. We know that the transfer tube has only got CO2 in it because it's what we use to push the star sand out of there and back into the keg. So now we're ready to transfer from the happy ending into here, off the yeast cake, onto the dry hoppage. Explain for those that don't understand what's going on. The CO2 tank is going into that Fermzilla all-rounder, and it is then pushing the happy ending through this tube, which we know has nothing but CO2 in it. So that's only got CO2 in it. This has only got CO2 in it. This has only got CO2 in it. And I've put a sponding valve on there, which is releasing the pressure gradually. And that's doing that thing again, where the ball is kind of stuck on the side. It's not now. It doesn't matter. Now, if that was oxygen, I'd have just fucked that up, because that would have just chucked a load of oxygen through everything. But we know there's no oxygen that can contaminate that, so it can bubble away as much as it wants, really, because it's only CO2. So we're taking the we're taking the beer now, because it is fermented. It's pretty much done. Off the yeast cake down there and into here. This will only, you little fucker, it's doing it again. You see that ball at the back there? I think it's sticking to the edge. I know that will stir it all up a little bit, but you know what, it's going to settle again in there, so it's not too big a problem. And that you can hear there is the sponding valve, just letting the pressure off. Pressure's set for, what's the pressure set for? At that 5, that's good enough. 4, it's just creeping, no, 4. Yeah, so that's all right. I'll keep it around that for the rest of the dry hopping. And someone said to me the other day, well, that when you move it, that's a secondary fermentation. Well, it's not actually, because we're not really introducing any more sugars, but it's a dry hopping off the yeast cake, so this isn't a secondary fermentation. What do I know? I just listen to what the experts say, because I haven't got a fucking clue. I need to put the video of me making this up, really, don't I? This is very, very heavily 9%, I think, honey malt, and then Mandarina, Citra, and today White Itty. And it's a bittersweet, you know, it's a happy ending, sort of bittersweet. It's sweet because of that malt bill. The honey malt will give it a real kind of like depth of sweetness, but also the bitterness from, because I put hops in the boil at 60 minutes, 20 minutes and flame out, and now dry hopping, so there will be a bitter edge to this. This is more like a West Coast. It's more like what's it called on Haight Street? Magnolia, one of Magnolia's beers on Haight Street in San Francisco. Love that place. Great food as well if you're ever there. Super food, super booze. Sorry, anyway, so the bittersweet, the sweetness is because we've got rid of Trump and we've got rid of Dominic Cummings, and we'll soon be getting rid of that twat Boris Johnson, lying fucker. But the bitterness is what damage they've managed to do and how many people have died as a consequences of their actions, especially in America, but also here. The mismanagement of COVID-19 has led to, we think, probably around 50 to 60,000 unreported avoidable deaths. That's figures from the Office of National Statistics, not just something that I've made up or Public Health England have made up. It's actually the Office of National Statistics. So bittersweet is that. Right, back when we're done and swapped around it. Yeah, that now has all of the dry hoppage in there, and it means now I can clean this one out. That's one of the joys of brewing. Everyone will tell you, if you don't brew your own stuff, people tell you that the actual brewing process and the drinking it, it's all a bit irrelevant. The really enjoyable thing is cleaning everything up, especially your fermentation vessels and your mash tun and your kettle, copper, boiler, whatever you want to call it. So that's what I'm going to do now. But for now, I think that's good. Let's have a little ad break. Right, back down in the main workshop. I've let all the CO2 out of here. That's why it goes all misty cloudy. And I never tighten this any more than hand tight, and even then with lots and lots of lube. But in order to get this top out, I'll loosen this almost to the stage where it will come off. But that is still well wedged in. So add some CO2 and watch. That's it. That's all. Now the reason to keep this on is if we didn't, that lid and the dip tube and the floaty ball on the end would be somewhere over there in the workshop, or would have just smashed me in the fucking face. So that now is loosened off enough to now go and be washed. And I've got to get my float out of there, give it a clean, and then that yeast cake at the bottom, that's a very, very pretty looking looking yeast cake, because there was no hops actually went into this fermenter. Got a decent krausen on it. Remember, it was under pressure. Good. So that now needs cleaning out. That needs cleaning. Ready for the lager, what I'm doing. And the lager I'm going to base on this wonderful collaboration from Heist, who are fantastic, but also one of my other favourite local breweries, Triple Point, and this is with the Mandarina hops. but this is a, you know, this isn't their lager, as it were. They've done a lager, I think, with Mandarina, but it's a hop that when I was exposed to it, decided that I wanted to do a couple of brews. So we've got the Happy Ending, and which is this, and just smelling that, oh, fizzy nose because it's loads of CO2, dickhead. That and the lager, I think, are both going to be very, very special. So bringing this up to temperature now, 50 degrees. I'm going to add some sodium percarbonate to this after I've flushed that out. I'm going to flush that out first, obviously, and give it a wipe around. Then sodium percarbonate, I'm going to drop the temperature in there. Well, I'm going to keep that temperature, but add cold into here. Give it a next wash out, and then sodium percarbonate, and then it's ready for the lager brew. Getting on with the plumbing. I wish I hadn't had that nose full of CO2. Excuse me. Gosh. Plumbing's coming on really, really well. I'm very happy with this. There is something else in the pipeline which is very special, and I'm very, very excited about. As I said before, it's what those hops from Callum are going to go into. Actually, let's take a look at those hops from Callum. To start with, I've opened 150 Citra, 150 Simcoe. There's loads more in here. There's over a kilo of hops here. So again, thanks ever so much. And the first thing to say is they smell all right. They don't smell as fresh as you'd get opening a fresh packet of T90 pellets, but they smell all right. You're getting the oils, or I'm getting the oils. This is the Citra. Different sort of smell, but I think they're all right. The other thing to say is, fucking hell, amazing that your vacuum packer is outstanding. And just look at the seal that it puts on the top. That is what I call a good seal. Far better than the little one that I've got over there. Yeah, impressed. So Callum, these are good. These are good hops for my purpose. Probably, you know, for your purpose as well, for anyone else's purpose. But for mine, now I'm going to let them age. At least I think probably I'm going to give them three weeks just in the air. I'm going to pop them in here, and then just going to lightly pop a little cover on there just to stop the beasties getting in there. And then I'll give them a shake once a day. So I'll put these in here and get another one for that. But yeah, I think they're okay. Oh. Quick cut, very quick cut to these. Now I've broken them up from their compressed state, and whoa, Citra Simcoe. The smell in here, I can't describe it, and my hands are really sticky having broken those up. So I think sealing them like that, I've often thought sealing them and bunging them in a freezer is the key. Probably is the key, but certainly sealing them like that absolutely has done the trick, because the aromas coming off these now are just incredible. Probably not the freshest, but still I would say perfectly usable, and for my purposes, because they're going in alembic, I reckon give these a month. These will be like, they'll have those qualities, you know, that cheesy feet type quality that lambic hops need. I'm going to do another video later on the lambic, but for now we have dry hopped the Happy Ending. I'm ready to clean out that fermenter over there. That will be ready for the lager, which is probably going to be tomorrow, which is, hang on, what day is it today? Yeah, it will be tomorrow, won't it? Good, Saturday. This lockdown and being retired and just sort of like working the same every day. You don't know what day it is. God, bloody better be Friday. Curry tonight, yes. So anyway, coming back to those, Callum, perfectly sealed. I wouldn't worry about your technique in the slightest, and I'm very grateful. Cheers.